Hello and welcome to a yoga session for Tarrant County College. My name is Eli Yoga. We are starting today in our mountain pose, focusing on our breath. Palms are facing forward, shoulders are relaxed away from our ears. We're letting go of thoughts of the past. We're letting go of thoughts of the future. Finding ourselves in this present breath, in this present moment. Possibly placing our hands onto our abdominals to feel our breath enter and exit our bodies. As we breathe in, we feel our ribcage open up like an accordion. As we breathe out, we can close our ribcage in. I'm just exaggerating with my hands here. Breathe in, filling up the lower lobes of our lungs. Breathe out through the nose. Breathe in through the nose. Let's find ourselves breathing in to lengthen our arms up and overhead. Breathe out, drop one arm down, activated standing lateral flexion. Breathe in, uniting breath with movement. Breathe out, sinking our other arm down by our sides. One breath, one movement, body and mind working together. Breath and movement matching. Practicing the use of a positive affirmation. Today, I let go. Today, I let go. We're letting go of thoughts of the past. We're letting go of thoughts of the future. Finding ourselves in this present breath, in this present moment. The next time we breathe in, let's keep both arms elevated up and overhead. The next time we breathe out, we release hands and energy to our heart center. We'll find ourselves stepping our legs nice and wide to our sunflower stance, preparing for our five-pointed star mudra. Breathing into our five-pointed star, breathing out as we sink into our mudra. One breath, one movement. Body and mind working together. Breath and movement matching. The next time we breathe in, let's keep our arms extended into our five-pointed star. The next time we breathe out, we release our hands to our heart center. Let's turn our bodies to face the backs of our mats. If we can, dropping our right knee down to the mat for our kneeling warrior. Breathe in, lengthen arms up and overhead. Breathe out, possibly rest our hands to blocks or to the floor. We can curl our right toes under or keep the top of the right foot on the mat. Breathe out, lift that knee, breathe in to lower. Sometimes I'm okay with the top of my foot to the mat. You can bring your hands to your thighs or biceps by ears. Sometimes I'm not. It just has to do usually with what's going on with my knees. And if I have any kind of a tweak going on in that knee joint, today I'm okay for this activated crescent moon. Release down. Curl those toes back under. Turn my body. Soften those knees, sunflower circles. Breathe in, lengthen those arms up and overhead. Breathe out, bending my knees into my sunflower circles. Excellent work. Maybe as I fold the knees, I can drop my head. Maybe not. Maybe continue to look forward towards the side of your mat. You select what will benefit the flow of your breath with your movement If you get a head rush by dropping your head down, keep it upright. On our next inhalation, let's keep our arms lengthened up and overhead. Breathing out, release hands and energy to our heart center, twisting our bodies to face the front of our mat, dropping our left knee down to the mat. Keep the toes curled under for activated crescent lunge. Maybe drop the toes down. We'll see if this side's okay for me today. Hands can stay to the floor or to blocks. Hands can move up to our thighs, maybe even biceps by ears. Release down, walk our hands back to the center of our mat, adjusting our feet to our sunflower feet. Use the power of our legs. Breathe in, circle, sweep our arms to the sky, sunflower circles. Breathe out, you choose the direction of your sunflower circles. Breathing out, breathing in. Let's reverse the direction of these sunflower circles. The next time we breathe in, keeping our arms lengthened up and overhead. Breathing out as we release our hands to our heart center. We step forward towards the front of our mats, standing mountain pose. Palms are facing forward, shoulders are mounting away from our ears. Sun salutations. Breathe in, we're lengthening arms up and overhead. Breathe out, swan dive forward, hinging from our hips. Hands can rest to thighs, knees, shins, ankles, feet, or floor. Breathe in, let's look forward, monkey pose. Breathe out, we're stepping our right foot back today, kneeling warrior or crescent lunge. You decide. You can do crescent moon if you prefer. Breathe in, lengthening heart center sky. Breathe out, release your hands as we step back, down dog or child's pose extended. We breathe into our plank or our modified plank. Breathe out, we lower down, chaturanga. Breathe in, drop the hips, roll up dog. Breathe out, back to down dog or child's pose extended. We're stepping our right foot forward. Left knee to the mat or not, you decide. Breathing in, lengthening heart center sky. Breathe out, release our hands when we step forward, forward fold. Breathe in, let's reverse our swan. Breathing out, chair pose. Breathe in, we lengthen back up, extended mountain. Breathe out, swan diving, hinging from our hips into our forward fold. Breathe in, we're gazing forward, monkey. Breathe out, we step our left foot back, kneeling warrior or crescent lunge. Breathing in, we lengthen heart center sky. Breathe out, release our hands as we step back, down dog or child's pose extended. We breathe into our plank or our modified plank. Breathe out when we lower down, chaturanga. Breathe in, drop the hips, roll up dog. Breathe out, back to down dog or child's pose extended. Push up is optional. We step our left foot forward. Breathing in, lengthening heart center sky. Breathing out, releasing our hands as we step forward, forward fold. Using the power of our legs, we breathe in, circle, sweep our arms to the sky. Breathing out, chair pose, right side. Breathe in, lengthen back up, extended mountain. Breathing out as we swan dive, hinge from our hips into our forward fold. Breathe in, we're gazing forward, monkey. Breathe out, we step our left foot back. I think I just messed that up, but that's okay. Breathe in, lengthening heart center sky. Breathe out, release our hands as we step back, down dog or child's pose extended. Let's breathe into our plank or our modified plank. Breathe out, we lower down, chaturanga. Breathe in, drop the hips, roll up dog. Breathe out, maybe add your extra push-up. Back to down dog or child's pose. We're stepping our left foot forward. Right knee to the mat or not, you decide. Breathe in, lengthening heart center sky. Breathe out, release our hands as we step forward, forward fold. Breathe in, we reverse our swan. Breathe out, chair pose. Right side. Breathe in, lengthen back up, extended mountain. Breathe out, we're swan diving, hinging from our hips into our forward fold. Breathe in, we gaze forward, monkey pose. Breathe out, we step our right foot back, kneeling warrior or crescent lunge. Breathing in, lengthening heart center sky. Breathe out, release our hands as we step back, down dog or child's pose extended. We breathe into our plank or our modified plank. Breathe out, we lower down, chaturanga. Breathe in, drop the hips, roll up dog. Breathe out, back to down dog or child's pose. We step our right foot forward. Breathing in, kneeling warrior or crescent lunge. Breathe out, release our hands as we step forward, forward fold. Breathe in as we reverse our swan. Breathing out, chair pose. Right side, breathe in, lengthen back up. We'll even it out here. Breathe out, swan diving, forward fold. Breathe in, we gaze forward, monkey. Breathe out, we step our right foot back, kneeling warrior or crescent lunge. Breathing in, lengthening heart center sky. Breathe out, release the hands. We step back, down dog or child's pose. Maybe left leg kicks up to a three-legged down dog. Let's breathe into our plank or our modified plank. Breathe out, we lower down, chaturanga. Breathe in, drop the hips. Roll up dog. Breathe out, maybe add your extra push-up back to down dog or child's pose extended. We step our right foot forward. Left knee to the mat or not, you decide. Breathe in, lengthening heart center sky. Breathe out, release our hands as we step forward, forward fold. Breathe in, we reverse our swan. Breathing out, chair pose, left side. Breathe in, lengthen back up, extended mountain. Breathing out, we're swan diving, hinging from our hips into our forward fold. Breathing in, monkey pose. Breathe out, our left foot steps back, kneeling warrior or crescent lunge. Let's breathe and lengthen, heart center sky. Breathe out, release our hands as we step forward, forward fold. Nope. Step our foot back, down dog. Breathe into our plank or modified plank. Breathe out, chaturanga. Breathe in, roll up dog. Breathe out, back to down dog or child's pose. We step our left foot forward. Breathing in, kneeling warrior or crescent lunge. Breathe out, release our hands as we step forward, forward fold. Breathe in, we reverse our swan. Breathing out, chair pose. Breathe in, lengthen back up, extended mountain. Breathe out, let's release hands and energy to our heart center. Stepping back into our wide sunflower stance. 5-pointed star to moon god. Moon salutations to follow our sun salutations. The next time we breathe in, crescent lunge towards the backs of our mats. Can have those blocks available or textbooks if needed. Hang out in our crescent lunge. If we'd like to drop our knee down to the mat, we may, for a kneeling warrior option. The next time we breathe out, release our hands down, pyramid pose, stepping the foot forward, releasing our heel to the mat, attempting to straighten the knee joint of the leg that's closest to our face, possibly shifting our hips forward and back, always breathing. We can stay here with our hands as they are, potentially chest expansion arms or upside down prayer pose arms, depending on what will benefit our body the most today. Possibly stay here in our pyramid if you'd like to join me for balancing half moon, releasing your hands down, folding through your knee joint, walking your fingertips towards the back of your mat, raising your leg. Maybe stay there, possibly raise the same hand as the lifted leg. Maybe eye gaze to the side of your mat, possibly top fingers to the ceiling. Potentially dorsiflexing the foot of the lifted leg, drawing that heel behind you. It's okay to have your back up against a wall to assist you in this balancing half moon process. Today, I let go. Today, I let go. Letting go of our balancing half moon. Prayer squat. Walk our hands towards the center of our mats, adjusting our feet to our sunflower feet. Completing our moon salutation with our prayer squat. We could stay upright. If we'd like to hinge our heart center forward, as long as we don't get dizzy, we can definitely hinge that heart center forward. Completing our moon salutation on the other side. Let's breathe in, 5-pointed star, one breath, one movement to start off. Breathe out as we sink into our moon god. Breathe in as we return to our 5-pointed star. Breathing out as we sink into our moon god. One breath, one movement. Body and mind continuing to work together. Breath and movement matching. The next time we breathe in, crescent lunge towards the front of our mat. It's okay to drop our knee down for a kneeling warrior. We breathe. The next time we breathe out, release our hands down by our foot. Step our back foot slightly inward, releasing our heel for our pyramid pose, possibly shifting our hips forward and back. One hip placement over another may affect the sensation of these hamstrings of the leg closest to our face. Chest expansion or upside down prayer pose arms, depending on the selected option from our first side, promoting a balance for our bodies, a balance for our breath, a balance for our minds. We can stay here in pyramid, maybe balancing half moon, releasing our hands to blocks or to the mat. Folding through this knee joint, walking our fingertips about 12 inches in front of our foot. Maybe stay there, possibly raise our back foot off of the floor to the height of our spine. Maybe raise the same hand of the lifted leg, possibly eye gaze to the side of our mat. Every day is different. Every body is different. So honoring your body for what you're able to perform in this present breath, in this present moment. Possibly releasing fingers and toes. Prayer squat, walking the hands to the center of our mat, adjusting our feet to our sunflower feet. Hands to heart center, sinking our tailbone closer to the earth. Eye gaze forward, or maybe hinge heart center forward so the spine might become parallel to the mat. The next time we breathe in, we return to our 5-pointed star. Breathing out, we sink into our moon god. Breathe in, we shoot back up to our 5-pointed star. Breathe out as we sink into our moon god. Repeating our moon salutation, we'll go towards the front of our mat this time around. On our next inhalation, crescent lunge or kneeling warrior. Release our hands, pyramid pose. Releasing our heel down as well, straightening through our knee joint if possible. Chest expansion arms or upside down prayer pose arms as options. Releasing our hands if we chose to elevate them, balancing half moon, or stay here in your pyramid, possibly walking the fingertips forward. Maybe raising our leg, possibly raising our arm. Always breathing. Releasing fingers and toes, wide sunflower stance with our legs. Prayer squat to complete our third moon salutation. Upright or not with our eye gaze, depending on the flexibility of our groin, depending on the stability of our balance. The next time we breathe in, 5-pointed star. Breathing out, moon god. Breathing into our 5-pointed star. Breathing out as we sink into our moon god. Crescent lunge on our next inhalation towards the backs of our mats. And breathing. We release our hands by our foot, stepping our back foot slightly inward, releasing that heel. Pyramid pose, hands can be in chest expansion or upside down prayer pose. Maybe stay here, maybe balancing half moon, folding through this knee joint, walking the fingertips forward, possibly raising our foot off of the mat, maybe raising the arm, maybe sending our eye gaze towards the side of our mat. We safely release fingers and toes wide, sunflower stance, prayer squat, walking our hands to the center of the mat, and then hands to heart center. The next time we breathe in, we return to our 5-pointed star. Breathing out, we release hands to heart center. Let's step forward towards the front of our mats. Standing mountain pose, palms are facing forward, shoulders are relaxed away from our ears. The next time we breathe in, let's raise our toes off of the mat. The next time we breathe out, spreading our toes as wide as possible onto the mat below us. We breathe in, lengthen our arms up and overhead. Breathe out, hinging from our hips, we swan dive forward. Let's walk, hop, or jump feet back, downward facing dog. Starfish hands, even weight distribution amongst our fingertips and our palms. Resting our knees to the mat, child's pose, extended, modified, or regular. Returning to our downward facing dog, curling those toes under. We find ourselves stepping our right foot forward. Pyramid pose here, shifting our hips forward and back. One hip placement may or may not be acceptable. We can stay here in our pyramid or move into our one-legged standing straddle splits. Folding through this right knee joint, walking our fingertips forward, raising our left toes as high to the sky as possible, drawing our head as close to our right leg as possible, maybe taking one hand to our right ankle, possibly both hands to this ankle for our one-legged standing straddle splits. Pointing our left toes as high to the sky, different than our balancing half moon, where we only raised our left leg to the height of our spine. This time we're trying to raise our left toes as high to the ceiling as possible. Activated one-legged standing straddle splits. Rest your hands down to textbooks or floor. Breathe in, bend both knees in. Breathe out as we straighten, pointing those left toes back up to the sky. Breathe in to fold. Blow out as we straighten. we rest our left foot back to our pyramid pose. Triangle pose, bringing our right hand to our waist, twisting towards our right leg. Maybe eye gaze over our right shoulder, maybe straighten through the right elbow joint. Rotation of the spine to guide us in our digestive tract. Today, I let go. Today, I let go. We return to our pyramid. Let's step back, downward facing dog, or child's pose extended. Embracing the difference between the right and the left sides of our bodies. We step our left foot forward, releasing our right heel to the mat for our pyramid pose return. Possibly shifting our hips forward and back, always breathing. Potentially stay here in our pyramid if you'd like to join me for one-legged standing straddle splits. Fold through that left knee joint, walk the fingertips forward, raising our right toes as high to the sky as possible. Potentially sending one hand to our left ankle, maybe both hands, drawing our head as close to our left leg as possible, and we breathe. Maybe activated standing straddle splits, release the hands down, breathe in, fold both knees, breathe out as we straighten. Pressing our right toes as high to the sky as possible, squeezing through both butt cheeks as we straighten both knees. Holding those right toes up to the sky and breathing. We release our right foot down, pyramid pose, return. Possible reverse triangle, left hand to the waist, twisting towards the left leg, eye gaze maybe to the ceiling above you, maybe straighten through the left elbow joint, reaching the left fingertips to the sky. Always breathing. Today, I let go. Today, I let go. Returning to center, we step back, downward facing dog, or child's pose extended. Hopefully achieving a balance and sensation between the right and the left sides of our bodies. We're resting our knees down, possibly creating a fold in our mat to accommodate our camel pose. Knees are bent. I like to open my knees out a little bit wider, but you can keep your knees in a narrow stance. Fists towards glutes. Press those hips forward. You could stay here. If you want to puff your chest up to the ceiling, you may. If it's okay on your neck, you can lift the chin to the sky. If it's okay on your back, you can hinge back and send your hands towards your heels or your ankles. If you would like, raise one arm to the sky. If you chose to raise an arm, drop that arm down and raise the other arm. Releasing our hands, we find ourselves into a child's pose, extended, modified, or regular. I took my fold out of my mat. You're welcome to keep that fold there if you prefer to have it. Today, I let go. Today, I let go. Finding ourselves in a pigeon pose, but realizing if we do not want to perform regular pigeon, it's okay to lay down on our backs. Otherwise, downward facing dog. Curling the toes under, pressing the heels to the floor, sinking the head through those arms. Raise one leg up into a three-legged down dog. If you're in your down dog, sweep this knee up towards your chest. Rest this foot over to the other side of your mat as you drop onto your leg. Avoid falling onto the butt cheek of the leg that's closest to your chest. Maybe stay here. Possibly surrender elbows and forearms to the mat. Potentially send those hands underneath your shoulders and fold through the knee joint of your straight leg, drawing this heel in towards your buttocks and breathing. Every day is different. Every body is different. Continuing to send positive, healing exhalations to whichever area of your body is currently asking for a little extra attention. Let's release. Downward facing dog if we're choosing regular pigeon pose. Switching over to the other side, raising the other knee high up towards the ceiling, three-legged down dog. We sweep this knee up towards our chest as we raise to the other side of our mat, keeping this buttocks off of the mat, possibly surrendering elbows and forearms to our mat. Possibly screaming pigeon options. This side might be more accepting, it might be less accepting. Folding through this knee joint. We listen to our bodies. We breathe. And we feel. We're letting go of our competitive spirit. We're letting go of judging others. Today, I let go. Today, I let go. Letting go of this screaming pigeon if we had selected it. We step back, down dog, or child's pose extended. If we did choose a modified pigeon pose laying on our backs, we can find ourselves flipping around into a regular pigeon pose, regular down dog or child's pose extended. Preparing to move into a standing pigeon pose, so you can stay here in down dog, you can rest in child's pose extended, you can repeat your regular pigeon, or you can repeat your supine reclining pigeon. If you want to join me, walk, hop, or jump, feet forward, forward fold. Using the power of your legs, breathe in, circle sweep your arms to the sky. Breathing out, releasing hands and energy to our heart center. For those of us that are attempting the standing balancing pigeon pose, let's go into a gentle chair pose. Take one ankle to that thigh. You can place your hands on a wall or the back of a chair to assist you. Maybe hinge the heart center forward and send those hands down to your textbooks, your blocks, or the floor. Experiment, straighten and fold in through the knee. Experiment, straighten and fold through the knee joint of your floor, legs, foot. Maybe keep your hands to blocks, textbooks, or floor. Maybe send those hands behind your back into a chest expansion if balance allows. Let's carefully bring ourselves upright. Standing mountain pose. Avoiding a head rush, but it might occur. Switching over to the other side for our pigeon version. Those of us that are standing, we fold through our knees in a slight chair. Switch it out, other side, ankle to thigh. Maybe stay here, maybe hinge forward, hands can rest to blocks or textbooks or to the wall. Fold and straighten through this knee joint to experiment. Maybe if we selected the chest expansion arms on the first side for my standers, attempting to promote a balance for our muscles, a balance for our breath, and a balance for our minds. Today, I let go. Today, I let go. Or letting go of this particular pigeon, safely returning to a standing mountain pose. Returning to our breath focus. Let's breathe in, lengthen our arms up and overhead. Breathing out as we release our hands and our energy to our heart center. We return to our extended mountain. The next time we breathe out, swan dive, hinging from our hips, forward fold. We walk, hop, or jump feet back, downward facing dog. Starfish hands, even weight distribution amongst our fingertips and our palms. Resting our knees to our mat, sitting back into our child's pose extended. Potential options: return to our hero pose from a couple of weeks ago. And if you have knee issues, stay here in your child's pose extended or your down dog. If you'd like to attempt the hero pose, my knees go out a little bit wider, as do my feet, and I attempt to sink my buttocks to the mat. If this hurts your knees, please stop. Listen to your body. You could stay here, and this might be enough for you. If you have the ability, possibly beginning to walk your hands back, maybe dropping elbows and forearms to the mat, potentially resting the head, maybe the back onto the mat, depending on your flexibility. Realize that this is a contraindicative pose, so you may not be able to get into a full hero pose depending on knee issues or back issues. Wherever you are, let's carefully bring you out of your hero and wrap our feet around towards the fronts of our mats. Boat pose. Breathe in as we prepare. Blow out. Roll to the back of your sit bones. You could stay here and place your hands underneath your hamstrings as support. Another option: raise those arms parallel to your thighs or arms parallel to the floor. Another option: raise your feet off of the mat and balance here. Arms parallel to the floor or parallel to the thighs. Maybe support the hamstrings, straighten those knees into a full boat pose. Maybe arms parallel to the floor or parallel to the legs. Maybe open-legged boat pose, wrap and cap, peace fingers around big toes, if flexibility allows, into your open-legged boat pose. We release down, wrapping our feet around towards the backs of our mats. Child's pose, extended, modified, or regular. Returning to our crow pose, a balancing pose. If you have wrist issues, you may not want to perform this. A strong abdominal core is also required for this particular crow pose. Walk your hands back towards your knees. It's okay to hang out in down dog or child's pose. Curl those toes under. Heels are touching, toes are apart. And we're going to lift our knees off of the mat and walk our hands pretty close to our feet. We can stay here and just hang out. Next option, flip those toes back behind you so the tops of the feet are to the mat. Maybe lift those feet off of the mat and balance. You may be able to only hold this for a split breath or second. My elbows are being hugged by my inner thighs, and it's okay to rest those feet down. We release. If we have lifted, child's pose, extended, modified, or regular, potentially rolling out the wrists and breathing. Today, I let go. Today, I let go. Downward facing dog if we're not already there. And we're breathing. We breathe into our plank or our modified plank, chest over hands. Breathe out chaturanga all the way down, smelling the mat if you really want to. If we are pregnant, find something else to perform, maybe cat-cows from hands and knees. Those of us that are able to be on our bellies, hands nice and wide down by our shoulders. I like to open up the distance in between my feet here. It's okay to have your feet completely touching. Gentle cobra, sliding our shoulders away from our ears, raising our face off of the mat, drawing our shoulder blades in towards each other. We engage through our abdominal core. We could stay here if we like more of an up dog feel. We can apply pressure into our hands and get more sensation through the gluteal and the low back. Of course, it's completely acceptable to hang out in your gentle cobra. Releasing back down. Locust pose, raising every single body part we can think of off of the mat. Hands, feet, face, draw shoulders towards each other. We breathe. We release back down. We return to our gentle cobra, gliding our shoulders away from our ears, raising our face off of the mat, and we breathe. Let's release back down. Side lying dancer pose, left aside, roll over, folding through the knee joint of our top leg and draw this heel towards our buttocks. The tendency is to lift this knee up to the sky. Try to drop this knee closer to the floor and breathe. Today, I let go. Today, I let go. Let's carefully release and switch over to the other side. Folding through this knee joint, drawing our heel towards our buttocks and breathing. Dropping our knee to the floor. Today, I let go. Today, I let go. We release. Child's pose, extended, modified, or regular. Our word of the day is green. G as in giraffe, R as in rhinoceros, E as in elephant, E again as in elephant, N as in Nancy. Green. Green. We walk our hands back towards our knees as we press ourselves up. We're wrapping our feet around towards the front of our mats. Laying on our backs. Possibly moving into our bridge pose if that's okay for our bodies. Raising our hips off of the mat, walking our shoulders a little bit closer towards our feet. We breathe. Maybe chest expansion, arms. Pelvis is stabilized. If we do have pain in the low back, dropping the hips down a little bit. Or if you do have a block, you can wedge that block underneath your tailbone so that you're not lifting so much from the hips to release some of that tension as well. Let's rest our hips back down, finding ourselves moving into our happy baby pose. Knees are bent, open those legs out wide, soles of the feet to the sky. If possible, take your middle and index fingers and wrap and cap them around your big toes, your peace fingers. You could stay here in your happy baby pose. Possibly if flexibility allows, straighten through the knee joint and breathe. The head could be resting. Sometimes people like to raise their head off of the mat. Go with what feels best for your body. Let's carefully release a butterfly pose. Soles of the feet touching as we lay here on our backs. If you'd rather be in a seated position with your butterfly pose, feel free to go there. You can place your hands onto your abdominals and feel your breath enter and exit your body. Spinal rotation, straighten one leg forward. You can also perform this from a seated position if you prefer to be sitting instead of laying on your back. If you're on your back, possibly pulling one knee into your chest, pressing this knee over to the opposite side, opening up the opposite arm as well, maybe sending your eye gaze towards this opposite arm. Breathe in through the low back. Breathe out, sink 1/10 of a millimeter deeper into our stretch. Let's gently return to center and switch to the other side. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose, allowing our exhalation to help us sink 1/10 of a millimeter deeper into our stretch. Today, I let go. Today, I let go. Letting go of this pose, returning to center, preparing to move through some muscle tightening before we enter relaxation. We breathe in, tighten and squeeze every single muscle in our body. Breathe out, we soften, we release, relax. Again, breathing in, tightening and squeezing, holding on. Breathe out, soften, release, relax. Again, breathe in, tighten and squeeze, hold on. Breathe out, we soften and relax. Last time, breathe in, tighten and squeeze, hold on. Breathe out, soften, release, relax. We're allowing our feet to flop open, allowing our palms to face the sky. We might be more comfortable rolling onto a side into a fetal position. We might appreciate a butterfly Positioning for our legs from our backs. Bent knees, whether the knees are knobbing inward or into that butterfly. Find a place where we feel calm, peaceful, and relaxed. Let's swallow to relax through our communication center. This is your reward for honoring your body through breath and movement. Taking the next several minutes just to breathe and to feel. Eyes have the option to be opened or closed. serve as our pillow, allowing our knees to fold up to our chest. Potentially wiggling fingers and toes to help reawaken the body. Today, I let go. Today, I let go. We gently press ourselves up to our seated position. Lengthening arms up and overhead, dropping one arm down, activated seated lateral flexion. Breathe in, breathing out. Just a brief return to one breath, one movement, body and mind working together. Breath and movement matching. Lengthen both arms back up. Switching across of our applesauce and continuing with our activated seated lateral flexion. Our pace might be slower than what we performed in our standing lateral flexion at the beginning of our session. It might be faster. The next time we breathe in, we're keeping our